backbone of the unit. You are not only the secretary, you are the organizer. You're also the pseudo-parliamentarian. Most units are too small to have a parliamentarian. You need to know how a meeting runs and when something's out of kilter. So my Bible is Robert's Rules of Order, but I like Robert's Rules in brief. This is my little Bible. It is all about nothing but running a meeting. It's all done, marked. You see me on tab, right? There's an entire chapter in here on the secretary. How to do things, when to do things. And there's also an entire chapter in here on voting, which you guys need to know more than anybody else. So let's start with the basics. Okay, what needs to be in the minutes of the meeting?
Everything.
If you're going to write the minutes of the meeting, what do you start with right off the bat?
Time you start.
I'm sorry?
The time you start your meeting.
Even before that. What's the name of your unit?
47.
Name of your unit and your district and your department right off the bat. So you want to make sure that's at the top of your minutes every time. And then you want the date and the time, but you also want to know who's conducting the meeting. It may not be your president. She might be sick. Could be your vice president. So you want to make sure that your name is there as who's conducting the meeting. And that should be every month, without fail, okay? So that you've got a complete record of what you've done. Now remember, you are taking the minutes of the actions of that unit. You're recording the legal actions of that unit. That's why it's important that you have the name and the date and who's running it. Because that's when all the business takes place, is in your meetings, whether it's your executive meeting or it's your general meeting. That's when you're going to make determinations. That's when you're going to take action on things. So you are transcribing the legal aspects of your unit. So that's why you want to be a little precise about things. Okay? Then what kind of follows the date, the person, what's next?
Time it starts.
What do you do at your meetings? What do you do after you do that? Don't you have a prayer first? Yeah. You have your prayer. Then do you recognize your dead? You stand in a moment of silence for those that gave their life. Okay. And then you do the pledge. And then the preamble. You'd be surprised how many units do not read the preamble in unison. And that is huge. You all want to be together. You want to do the pledge together. You want to do the preamble together. That's when you bring the whole place together. Now, we sing the national anthem. We do the pledge and then we sing the anthem. But we have enough people to do that. But we do it on the solo. It's a little rough, but it's good because we're standing and we're in a group. So if that works for you, try it sometime. You might be surprised. You have some good singers in that group. Then once you get done with all that, what's next?
Motion. Minutes.
How about roll call?
You've had your preamble. What's next?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Now tell me what's the importance of doing the roll call. I mean, you know the officers, you know their names, you see them every month. Why do you have to call their name every meeting?
Make sure you have a quorum.
Quorum. Now, who also gives you the quorum for the general meeting? Who lets you know that there's a quorum if you have to vote from the floor?
Sergeant at Arms.
Sergeant at Arms. Why?
Because they have to, when people are checking them in, and you know exactly how many members you're going to have.
And they better have a membership card.
Yes,
right?
they do.
So your sergeant at arms is checking them in, checking their membership cards because you're going to be voting on things. So you need to know that you have a quorum of active voting members. All right. So your sergeant of arms is going to give your president should ask your sergeant at arms, do we have a quorum? Before the meeting starts, make sure you've got a quorum because if you don't have a quorum, those motions can only be discussed or mentioned, but they can't be voted on. They can't really be discussed until you have a quorum. So make sure you have one. Now, we get through all that, and secretary's up. What does she do after the roll call?
Reads last month's meeting.
Last month's
Previous
meeting.
meeting.
Okay. Now she reads these minutes, If she gets them through, what does she do then when she's finished reading them?
Ask if there needs to be
Any corrections, all right? Now, if there's corrections, you note them on the minutes you're reading. You don't put them in the new month's minutes. You note them on the minutes. All you put in the new month is that corrections were made and filed. That's all you have to do for the next month. But on the old minutes, you make the corrections. Yes, ma'am?
When asking about the corrections, doesn't the president ask, is there any discussion or changes of the last meeting?
The secretary can. Secretary can.
Okay.
When she
Our
finishes,
president always does that.
president can. A lot of presidents are very active on that.
Mhm.
But the motion part can come from the president, but
Yeah.
usually you can have your secretary be more proactive. She can ask if there's any questions or corrections.
She does enough.
Yeah,
At 70 years old, she does enough.
let her know that she has the right to do that. Some secretaries don't know that they can make that. They can ask, yeah, is there any corrections? It doesn't have to be your president, but if you have an active president, they can do it. They can say, is there any correction? Then they can say, hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the minutes? You've got to get a motion and a
Second.
and then what happens is you think you just move on, but what are you going to call for after you ask for a motion and a second?
All in favor? All in favor?
All in favor. You should have asked, you've already asked for discussion when you asked for corrections. Yes?
I was told that you don't need a motion to approve minutes.
It's a good idea. Robert's rules kind of want you to, because then everybody agrees that what they heard is good.
Right.
So you can, I would suggest you do, because then if anybody comes back later, they say it was never read or blah, blah, blah. So it's just a good practice. It's just a good practice. It's not written in stone. If you all, decide you don't need to, that's fine. But I would suggest that you do just for clarity. Yes?
On reading minutes, if our unit sends them out via email every month, and that's how we do it, what we've been doing is just saying, did everyone receive the minutes? Did everyone review them? Does anyone have any corrections?
That's fine,
And we will
because
do
you're
that.
asking for corrections. You're still asking, did you get them? Did you read them? Do you approve them? Okay? Now, if they didn't, but they vote yes, you're agreed. Okay? Yes?
Sure. So after the corrections have been made,
Mhm.
the secretary signs off, the president signs off, aren't you supposed to give a copy of those minutes to the historian to file in their historian
The
book?
secretary should be keeping a copy of the minutes.
No, I know, but also they're supposed to give it to the historian too.
A lot of units do, but a lot of units don't. That's
That's
strictly,
for records.
a lot of historians, and some units do not have an historian, but they've got a secretary.
Right.
So the secretary should keep a binder of a hard copy and keep it on your disk, your
Your
computer.
laptop, yeah.
That's fine, but keep a hard copy too, because you take that to the meeting with you, anybody wants something real quick, you got it, here it is, blah, blah, blah. It's just old paper, old idea, but it comes in handy, especially you've still got some old guard in that membership that doesn't email, doesn't Zoom, doesn't do any of this techie stuff. They want to see it in hard copy. So you're ready, you're prepared. And it gives you a backup. If the computer goes down and you can't get to it the night you need it, you've got your copy of your minutes. So it's just a good idea to have a hard copy of that, because you are the record keeper. Without you, they're not going to have it, because you're the ones that transcribe it. Nobody else does, right? So you should have a copy there to show them what you've got going on. Now, once you get through the minutes, yes, ma'am.
When you send out the invitation
Mhm.
to the monthly meeting,
Yeah.
I would always add in the agenda and a proxy, should they not be able to be there, proxy.
Is it in your standing rules that you accept a proxy?
Yes.
Okay.
So-
But the
so
thing
I would
is, you
just
don't
add
have the
to-
agenda set yet when you set the notice out.
Well, it's just a
Right.
outline of what's going on.
Gotcha. You can,
Just know that this is gonna happen at this meeting.
yeah, and then ask for any additional items if you do it ahead of time like that. You
Okay.
can,
Okay.
you can, but what you want to do is give your chairman and your officers an opportunity to put items on the agenda. And then if there's something there that needs to be discussed, you're going to discuss this agenda with your president before you put it in stone. You're going to go to your president, you're going to say, these items came up, where do we want to put them, what do we want to do? but you set it. You get it set with her and you let her know what's coming down the pike. And then also, if it's something that comes up on that notice to you that says it needs to be a motion through the executive committee, then you're gonna steer that chairman or that member to the executive committee. Maybe it's a decision that has to be made there first before it comes to the floor. So that'll give you an opportunity to look at it with your president and decide which direction that has to go. Depends on your unit setup, what your standing rules say about motions from the floor. So a lot of units only have dollar amounts go through their executive committee and then to the floor. Some will accept motions from the floor. So kind of have to get your unit on board and correct your standing rules so you know what your setup is on how you're going to behave in the meeting. Okay? And then what do you do after you've got all this done? Who's up next after the secretary? Treasurer. That's always a fun one. And then she did the opening, closing balance, money out, money in, and we got money left, right? Okay. Now, she's going to ask any questions or discussions because a member has the right to ask, what did those checks go to? What did we donate to? What have we done? You know, you can question. Any officer can be questioned about that, but the treasurer should know to be prepared to answer the members' questions about the financial status of the unit. Once she's done that, if anybody doesn't say anything, what's the next sentence? It's not accepted as read.
Subject to audit.
Filed for audit. No discussion, filed for audit. Now, what does that mean? That means that you should have a committee at the end of the year that's looking over the books. You're checking your treasurer. You're keeping everything. Your unit knows that you're doing your due diligence. Make sure it's not your president on that committee. Pick 3 to 5. Yes?
We do it quarterly.
You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. It is. And it depends on your size.
Right.
You decide that, but be sure it's at least audited once a year if you're not using an outside auditor. If you're larger and you have to file the long form, you have a CPA looking over your books and auditing them for you that way. Otherwise, 3 to 5 members go over the books, make sure everything looks good, and the treasurer answers any questions and gets ready to prepare the budget for the next year. And then you file that for audit, but you gotta keep a copy. Now, where does that copy go? Where's the copy of the treasurer's report go?
Secretary.
Secretary. She gets everything. Poor devil. She gets everything. So the treasurer hands her report. Now, I will say, I would encourage you to tell your chairman to write their reports out, whether it's a paragraph or just an itemized list of what they're going to discuss at the meeting, because when you start that, it can get very laborious when you're listening to all the committee reports. So you want it to go quickly. So what's a good rule of thumb for this length of a committee report?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. You're fast.
Yeah.
We usually do 3. That's it. Now, who holds the timer?
Secretary.
No, give it to your chaplain. Nobody argues with your chaplain.
Huh.
Give it to your chaplain. Get yourself a pinky timer, your egg timer, whatever you want to call them. Hand it to your chaplain. She'll crank it up, and when it dings, she'll be the first one to say, "Now, time's up." Nobody argues with the chaplain. So that always takes that off the table. But that will make it go a lot faster. Now, after treasurer, who comes up? Who else needs a motion on the floor? Membership. Membership is a tricky one. A lot of units do it several different ways. You can read a list. You can have them stand up. You can introduce them at the meetings, things like that. What do some of you do? Do you do a list or do you have them present?
Do a sign-in list.
List. Lots of times there's too many, or they don't all show up. They may have joined during the week or online or however you do it via mail. So once you read the list, what's your motion?
You're reading what list? Membership list.
You gotta have the list so that members can see it, so you gotta produce it. You ask that it be accepted at, yes,
What list are you talking about?
membership.
You mean
New members.
for new members?
New members, transfers, or rejoins.
Okay, because I'm like, we got 230 people. We gonna read off 230 people's names? Okay,
We have 3,902.
all right. That's more than 3 minutes, is all I'm saying.
I'm from Madeira Beach, 273, and we hit 3,902 members this year.
Wow.
Yeah. We're rocking and rolling.
We hit 73 and we
We
hit
were
on top of the world.
200 members years ago.
Because we're a little
When I was president, we were just hitting 2,000. That was in 2018. So we've come a long way, and but we do it by being organized. So if you want your units to grow, this is the way to do it. You get with your president, and don't just treat it as a coffee clutch or sitting around just with a list of things to chat about. Run it like a little business, because a big business started out as a little business no matter what. So go by your formality, even if it's just 3 of you, or 5 of you, or 20 of you, it doesn't matter. It's a mindset. You want to grow it, so you grow it the right way from the roots up. And if you've already got those in place when you start to grow, you won't have it. Motion? Yay. Motion?
Yay.
Well, I can't kind of tell, because it's pretty even. So now I'm going to say, I'd like a show of hands. Okay? I'd like a show of hands. Oh, it's still pretty even. Now I'm going to say, I'd like a show of hands. Sergeant at Arms, count the hands. So you can move along with your vote. When you can't tell what's going on, don't hesitate to tap your little president and say, oh, it's pretty even. You think maybe we should see a show of hands? You know, let's make sure we really know, because if it's close and they go out and they think you called the wrong side, you're in deep trouble. So just cover yourself, But you're the one that's going to help that president do it. That's in chapter 8. There's also there about voting on your election of officers. How many of you have a nominating committee? Is that nominating committee elected?
No.
Appointed. No, ma'am. Nominating committee should be elected by the membership. Nominating committee should be elected.
The chairperson, most likely that one was appointed and the other 2 members were voted on.
Voted on? Well, that's close, but you probably could make that a lie.
Okay.
Because she would probably got voted on with the 2 members. She should have been voted on with her 2 members.
Oh,
Okay? The membership should vote on it. Why? Why do you think it should be elected, not appointed?
Because favoritism.
Favoritism. I want you and you because you're my best friends, and I want this one on as president, and I want this one on as blah, blah, blah. So you're making sure it comes off the floor as a nomination, and then they're elected, and then they present a slate of officers. Now, as they're doing that, they're calling you, saying, do you want to run for president? You say, not on your life. Call you and say, do you want to run for president? You say, oh yes, I'd love to. Okay. They have to get a yes or a no from you. They can't just walk in and go, I have a slate of officers, this one says, and this one, they can't pick you. They can ask you, and you can accept or decline. And that goes whether the nominating committee calls you or you come off the floor. Say you nominate your friend. I nominate Sam for president. Sam's like, I don't want that. So you can say from the floor, I respectfully decline. You don't have to say why. I just respectfully decline. It takes you off the ballot right away. And you may not know that. You may not know that she doesn't want. You may think she's perfectly suited, but she's not ready. So remember that you have to get permission from the person that's nominated before they can move on. And how many times do you ask for nominations?
Twice.
How many?
3.
3. You guys have been good. You've been listening. Somebody got through to you. Now, how do you do that? You don't ask for all 3 times at the same meeting, do you? No. No, you do not. And you want to always make sure that you say that it comes from the floor. You want to ask that president, has to do it at every meeting until you vote. But you've got to do it at least 3 times. You've got to give that opportunity. Now, you can either do it by ballot or by vote. Now, suppose, which happens in a lot of units, suppose nothing's changing. Suppose nobody is challenging the current group, all right? You don't have anybody running against the president or the vice president. It's the same slate of officers. They've all accepted to run again. The nominating committee can't find anybody to run against them, so if they present the slate, how do you vote on the slate without doing?
Make a motion to keep the board as it stands.
Approve the
Call it
slate.
a one vote. I'm gonna do one ballot. I move that we elect the officers on one ballot. And you elect them all. You can name them if you like, but it's a one ballot vote. Yes?
I have a question. When you say, you need to bring it up 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
is it at 3 separate meetings and then the 4th meeting you have,
That's,
or do you have it, or can you say that the 3rd meeting and then have the elections at the 3rd meeting? 'Cause
A
there's
lot
been
of
questions
units-
on that.
Yes.
a lot of units like to do it just before the election to make sure they didn't miss anybody. A lot of units stop the month before. It's strictly, and I would make sure it's in your standing rules. If it's not there, you decide as a unit. Do you want to wait until that last vote to ask for the last time? Or do you want to start earlier with your nominating, do your 3 months, and then vote that 4th month? Remember, you got to be so far out from convention. So
30
watch
days.
your timing on when you start if you're going to do the 3 months, okay? Just watch your timing. But it's perfectly okay either way. I would say most units do it one more time before the vote, just so no one can say I didn't get an opportunity. Because I'll tell you, people come out on the day of the election, and that's when things get crazy sometimes. So, but if you decide to do it before you're gonna vote, make sure it's in the minutes that you've asked for it and you've told the membership. The last call for election is April. We're voting in May. Make sure your membership knows it cuts off in April. So it's just a matter of making sure you keep telling them, because if it's in your minutes where your president has done that, if anybody challenges you, here's minutes, you could have been at the January meeting, you should have been at the February meeting, you should have been at the March meeting, but here it is. And that's what your minutes are for. You are the legal listing, the legal work of the unit. You record it. Yes?
So what information, if you did a ballot vote, what information from that vote goes in that month's minutes? Does it
You're
tell
gonna
report
take the motion, you're gonna take the second, you're gonna list the officers, and you're gonna give the vote and whether it passed or,
Do you give the actual vote count, the teller report,
only if you do by ballot.
which we do?
Okay, if you do by ballot, yes, you have to do an actual teller's report. Did you know what she's talking about, a teller's report? That's just an accounting. You're gonna have everybody's name and how many votes, everybody, and a total number of votes, so that you make sure you got everybody covered. And that goes in the minutes. So you have to have it, whether it's on a sheet, if you do it by ballot. Now, do you keep those ballots?
For 30 days.
No.
You can ask them, keep them for 30 days and then have them destroyed.
You can, but I would suggest that most are not doing that anymore. They just go ahead. You can, if it's in your standing, but make sure it's in your standing rules. That's so important on how you conduct business within your units. If your unit's doing it differently than this unit and this one's doing it, make sure it's in your rules. Make sure it complies in your rules. But put it in your rules so that nothing changes. We have some guests, and I'm rambling on, so.
No, I love it. I just got a wrinkle in my brain. She taught me something new, which I need plenty of you all to teach me. I don't know everything, and so.
Okay, Tammy, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Well, let me introduce to you our incoming Commander-in-Chief.
I am so excited. It is so surreal. My head is like, this is not really happening, but it really is. So, I'm gonna get into this because I know Cheryl's got plenty to teach you all. So, our theme this year is Mission Auxiliary Serving Heroes. Success is the only option. So, Mission Auxiliary Serving Heroes. Success is the only option. Hashtag MASH. Get it? Get it? Anyway, we're going to focus on serving you can define hero how you choose. But we're focused obviously on our veterans, their families, our military families, our children and youth. So, you all are part of that mission. You are military family. You're a veteran family member of a veteran if you yourself are not a veteran. So keep that in mind when we're out here working together and someone says that they don't like your shoes or the color of your hair or, you know, and I know that things are much worse said than done. I'd like you to keep in mind that we have one thing in common, and that is our mission. And if that's the only thing we have in common with the person working next to you, that's enough, okay? Our military and what's best. You know, I didn't get to serve in the military. I wanted to, I just chose to fall in love when I was very young and get married when I was extremely young, so that didn't happen. But this is my way of serving our country, is by serving our veterans and the military, because what's good for them is good for our country. So, keep in mind, I'm not gonna like everybody. I also like to say, and I do like saying this, our men and women who have served and who are currently serving, they don't get to pick and choose who they work with. It doesn't matter if they like you or not. That's a fact. If they're given an order, a mission, they will choose who is the best one team to complete that mission. Doesn't matter if they like each other. Success is the only option. So keep that in mind, that our military is out there working with people they don't like. And I'm speaking very plain to you all because this is a reality. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat, I'm trying to encourage you to please work together. You don't have to go home with them. You don't have to have a drink with them. You don't have to share a french fry with them. Just work the program, work the mission, and charge forward. That's all I'm asking, okay? Tammy Zell. Remember y'all, I picked her. That's the only thing I did, was choose her. She thought, hey, can I do this? Yes, you better do this. She has put together an excellent membership program. We're not gonna stay long here. We're gonna zip through, some of the high points, and then we are out of here because y'all have large responsibilities as unit secretaries.
So, as she said, Tammy Zell's my name if you don't know me, but this year I am Captain Auxiliary, and I'm here to motivate you to recruit, retain, and rejoin members as much as possible throughout the year. Our membership mission this year is Operation MOVE, and MOVE is an acronym because in the military they have all sorts of acronyms. MOVE is Mobilizing Outstanding Volunteers Everywhere. Okay? And our hashtag, because we are moving, is Let's Move. Okay? So we have done some things a little bit differently. That's one of the great things about Linda. She let me kind of go a little off the map with this. Our area chairmen are not going to be called area chairmen this year. They are membership recon team, MRTs. Nice. Okay? And so I'm meeting with them later this afternoon, and they're going to get a nice little booty hat just like this. I got one right there. And then their responsibilities within their areas, each area has been designated as a branch of service. So we're going to honor our military past and present by honoring the branches of service who have sacrificed and given all to get us to this 250th anniversary for our nation. So Western, they are our Marine Corps. Northern is our Navy. Eastern is our Space Force. Central is our Air Force. Southern is our Army. And Southwestern is our Coast Guard. And each, yeah, that's one of the branches of service. And so each of them, each district then within those areas has a vehicle assigned to it that pertains to that branch of service. Navy's the lucky one. They got a little bit of air and sea going on with them. But I've got a whole list that you'll all find out later. I don't want to take up too much time today. But when I've got my PEP already done, so when this all goes live after this weekend, you'll see all this. I want you to have as much fun as possible. Remember, AI is your friend. Get on ChatGPT or Grok or whatever. Come up with graphics. Do a little research on your vehicle. all of these are iconic vehicles that were very significant from World War II to the Vietnam War. So they do have history to them, even the Coast Guard vehicles that I picked out. So, you know, some of us, you know, you just don't know much about the Coast Guard. They have a great history with them.
She
So-
geeked out on the vehicles. She geeked out.
I love it. I love it. So anyways, I want you to have a lot of fun. One of my big focuses this year is our retention rate. Florida is one of these lucky states, sometimes lucky, not so lucky, in that we have a lot of people coming in. So we have a steady stream to recruit from. But sometimes if we don't focus also on our existing members and make sure we retain our existing members, at some point that flow may stop, and then we're in a world of hurt. So always work with your existing members, get them renewed as much as possible. If you're doing a summer, like early bird event, I know a lot of units do that. If you're doing that, have everything ready to go, and as soon as National opens up the lines, get those in there. Our first goal date is September 15th, 65%. So let's try to hit 65%, okay?
16.
Did I say 16 or 15? 15. Okay. And I didn't put it in my PEP, but all of my dates, they're a little bit different than in the years past, but they're all based on a significant mission. So, I haven't told anybody else this, but if you start researching, if you want to do a little, speaking of geeking out and research those dates and tell me what each one is, maybe I'll have something special for you at that fall conference. So, you're the first people I've told that to, so run with it. So, also keeping with our military theme, each level we have a chain of command. And you may have heard us talk about chain of command, you know, don't talk to your district president without your president knowing, blah, blah, blah. So, but we changed it up a little bit this year to have fun with it and to honor our military. Our unit members are our troops. Our little ones, our juniors, are our cadets. The unit is your platoon. So your president is a platoon leader. Our districts are a brigade. District chairmen are advisors. District presidents as part of the command staff. Department chairmen are our envoys. Department officers are executive officers. The only one I gave a literal rank to, which is well deserved, our PDPs are our generals.
Nice.
And then, you may have heard me say it earlier, this is our commander-in-chief. Okay, she's no longer president, she's the sink. So, and what do you think we call department headquarters?
Headquarters.
HQ, of course, you know? So that one was an easy one. So that is where we're going this year. We're going to be moving. I'm going to be trying to be mobile and getting out there as much as possible. So if you're doing an event, a membership event especially, give me a holler. I'd love to come see your places. I've gone clear down to District 9 so far, and I've been up to 5, and you know, I've been all over, but I want to see more of you guys. And so please don't hesitate to give me a call. And also your area MRTs, get them involved with you. Okay, make them work. Make them earn their stripes. Okay? Any questions? Did you tell me your colors?
Did I? Yeah.
No.
Army green for Army, Navy blue, Coast Guard, Navy, Air Force, black for the Marines and the Space Force. Camo is really the color, and we have all those colors in camo, but because some of us have to dress up, we have to wear collared shirts. Those are solid. But we do have a cute little Jeep that's camo. The color of the Jeep is camouflage. So, I want y'all to be at workshop, and here's why. Eagles, helicopters, fog machine, and maybe a Jeep. Yeah, don't want to miss it. Thank you all. Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate it.
go to 8, go to chapter 2 of this little book, it's all about.
That should be my walking song.
So if you need, if something we didn't cover today, they're in this little book, and I strongly suggest you get this little devil. This would be divided. But at the meetings, you want to be sure you have a copy of Robert's Rules, whether it's in brief or the real one. You also want a copy of what? Bunch of unit guides. You guys have everything. I'm gonna have it. So this is your unit guide. It's got some information in it you might need during a meeting. Maybe a program or how the bylaws and constitution are in here for the department. You need that. Yes.
Where can you, obtain that?
This? Where can you get it?
I work
Oh, you
shop.
can buy this in the shop. It should be online too in the store when we get up and running. Yeah.
So is that a new version?
I'm sorry?
Is that a new version?
No, this is now.
Every year.
The new
Okay.
one doesn't come out until workshop. I'm
Right.
going to workshop.
So after
So
workshop,
we need
yeah,
to wait till after
Workshop
workshop.
is in July.
July.
We have boot camp the 1st of July and workshop is somewhere around the
The
middle or end
24th
of
and
July.
25th.
Look out on the website, the events are listed, look up workshop. That's when all the new programs roll out. That's when you meet all the new chairmen. You're gonna meet me on one of them too. But that's when all the new chairmen tell you what they expect for the new year and how they want the program to go. And you'll get your new one then. But you wanna make sure you have a unit guide, even if it's the older one for the Constitution and bylaws, which doesn't change that much. And I will tell you that the new one coming out will have a cute little Jeep on it. Linda is really into that Jeep. So you'll know it as soon as it comes out, but we have been working very hard on the Finance Committee to revamp the unit guide, catching it up. There was some outdated information, so the new one should be really clean. I'm looking forward to it, so be sure you get the new one. But make sure you have your unit guide. Make sure you have the National Constitution and bylaws, in case someone challenges you on where this came from. Here it is, because remember, the national bylaws are automatically part of the department's bylaws. That's a given. It's in the Constitution and bylaws of the department, so if there's a conflict, who rules?
National.
Yes.
So, did they finish designing the, book for, the ceremony book that they were bringing back? Do you know?
See me after about that. I'm not quite sure what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
because we
but I'm-
voted on it at National Convention last year to bring back the book of ceremonies. Which-
in print.
Oh, with the chaplain and the historian,
Yeah,
right?
yep,
I think they are. I have to check on that though,
Okay.
not as far as.
because that's a good book to have
Make
too.
sure you have a copy of your constitution and bylaws for your unit. If you don't have a copy, where can you find it?
Online.
It's on alafl.org, under Constitution and Bylaws Chairman. If you look it up, there's your district, and under that district is every unit. So if your president or hasn't given you one, go out and print your own. It's right there for you. And it's a good time for you to review it. Maybe there's something in there that you all need to change. You do know that if you want to change your dues, you have to change your standing rules before February 1st in order to change your dues. It has to be in the department before you can change your dues. Okay? So make sure you don't miss those deadlines. And make sure you got a copy of your SunBiz. Everybody know what that is? That's your incorporation. That's who you are as a unit. If you don't have one, you can get it online. It's free to anybody. It's public record. It'll have your official name. Because you're doing a 990, right? You gotta have your SunBiz. So look it up. It'll give you your official name. Yes.
What is that called again?
SunBiz. It's actually the Florida Department of, it's a division of corporations. You go to the division, and you can search for any corporation, profit, nonprofit, doesn't matter. So you can find it, and then you've got your true legal name to put at the top of what? Your minutes. Then you've got it down, so that you can't just say, oh, unit, go above it. You're not just unit, blah, blah, blah. You're something unit. Like we're Augustus Rooster Jr., Unit 273, Incorporated, American Legion Auxiliary Unit 273, Incorporated. So you've got a whole name of things there. So make sure you know your legal name when you're doing, because you are doing the legal record of the unit. Okay, I don't want to keep you too long. Anything we talked about today, I'll be glad to send to you in email, just put a little X by your name, I'll email it to you, including the forms you picked up. You can copy them right onto your computer, change them however you want to. Please use them as a guide, I hope they help you. Expand the areas so that you can take notes right there on that sheet, and make one for your president. I don't care what president it is, they're gonna get nervous. So if she's got the anthem in front of her, if she's got the salute, if she's got everything that she can read, when she gets nervous, it's right there. She can just flip it in a binder. So print those first pages out. Also, she should be making notes on her copy or her agenda, just like you, in case you missed something. So you two gotta work in unison to make your unit strong. And once she realizes that you're the right hand, then you're gonna have a very strong unit, and every unit starts small. So just remember, you're a very vital point in growing that unit. And if nobody's telling you that, I'm telling you. As a past president, my secretary helped me tremendously. I had 2 years without one. I did my own minutes. I was struggling. And I'll tell you, a secretary really makes a difference when it comes to helping that president out, run a good meeting, and keep things in order. So, did everybody get a red ticket?
Yes.
Okay, I need my little red bag.
Careful, Mike. That was my own bag. Keeping us on time.
All right.
I tripped over my own bag.
Let me make sure nothing gets caught in the cracks. Okay? All right, let me get in here so I can mix them up like that. All righty. 431. Last 3 digits. 431. Yours?
And I have 4:30.
All right. I have a Robert's rules for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Now, this one is just a fun one. 433. 433. That you, babe?
4:30.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Now, let's do a little refresher real quick. I'm not letting you go yet. Let's do a refresher real quick. What are your minutes for? What's the purpose of the minutes? To keep records. It's your record. But what is it also for? It's going to refresh the memory of your members at the next meeting, so they'll remember what they've done, mainly so they don't do it again, right? So they know it's happened. And it's also for all those members who were not there. You're now letting them know what happened while they were away. So it's not just the records, but it's also to keep your members informed and to let them know, the ones know that weren't there. And then get ready for your next meeting. Right after you're done, what's the best thing to do with those minutes? Type them up quickly. Do them within a day if you can, or that weekend. The first weekend you've got 2 minutes to your name. Try to do your minutes quickly so everything's fresh in your mind. And if your unit can't afford, get yourself a tape recorder. Just make sure you announce this meeting is recorded. Make sure your president says we're going to record. When do you usually say that? Right at the meeting, right at the beginning. Your president can do it right when she's saying, turn off your phones, take your seats, and remember this meeting is recorded. You can do it right then and there.
Have they stopped doing a book of motions?
I think so. I think so. That I haven't seen that in a long, long time. I think that the minutes are really your book of motions, but you could do it. And what she's talking about is what she's talking about is they used to take whatever motion was made at a meeting was separately listed in a book of motions, so that you could look back through just for the motions that had happened in that unit. Nothing else. No other chit chat. Nothing. Just yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's not a bad idea. Right. It's really not, because you've sifted through everything. If you have time and you want to separate those of you that are quick on that computer, you can just cut and paste. Make yourself a book of motions. But that's what she's talking about. So it's an option. Yes.
Somebody else in another meeting said that when they do minutes, they highlight the motions. So whenever they flip him back through,
Sure.
they'll see where the
Sure,
motions
or
are at.
even on a computer, you
The
can
money
make them
motions.
red or colored. Did you have a question, sir?
No, I just wanted to mention that we not only bold the motions to make them stand out, but also at the end of the minutes, list them separately.
Can do
Similar
that.
to the book of
Whatever,
motions.
whatever gives you the recording of that program, that unit, that's, you do what's best for you. Just make sure it's uniform. That's the biggest thing, and make sure you just get the opening, the closing, who did it, how it happened, and you're in good shape. Who, what, when, where, how. Remember the old adage from school? If you all are my age, who, what, when, where, how, right? That's what we always heard when you wrote a report. So if you're doing the same thing, who said it, when was it said, how is it, blah, blah, blah. That's your job, and it's an important one. I cannot stress how important the secretary's job is, and if nobody's told you that, I'm telling you, it really makes or breaks a unit. And when you don't have a secretary, you can see it right off the bat when you go in a unit. So, I thank you all for taking on the job, and like I said, if there's any of this information you want, put an X by your name, I'll ship it off to you in an email. You can use whatever you like and change it any way you wish.